And on the 364th day, when God was bored and simply trying to use up all his spare leftover parts, he said, I need someone to get up at 3:30 in the morning with a big mouth and a small amount of common sense. So God made a DJ. I need someone whose voice and face don't match, like the roar of a lion coming out of the butt of a chihuahua. So God made a DJ. And then inform you that you're listening to the hot rockin', flame-throwing, booty-kicking, steamrolling, corn-shucking tower of hit music power that's shaking the lakes and rocking the docks. So God made a DJ. So that one day, when your child comes to you and says, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, a carny, a clown, or a mime, you will have someone else to point to and say, just so you don't end up like that. And that's why God made a DJ.
Hi, I'm Bill Chamberlain. I want to take a moment to thank Rick Rumble for allowing us to use And So God Made a DJ. You know, for 37 years, I was that bright good morning voice on the radio. Nowadays, it's a bit different. There are no more records, and far too often, it's just a computer. And that's sad. Really sad. In the 60s, the transistor radio made music portable, and it went with us everywhere. We took it to the beach with the Beach Boys and Jan and Dean, and the Beatles, 24/7, music blasting in our ear, along with our favorite DJ. Have you ever wondered about the men and women behind the scenes, the DJs that made it all possible? Well, that's why I'm here. I was privileged to work with some of the greatest DJs in the business, and I want to tell their stories before it's too late, before they're all lost. Our documentary is a glimpse into the life of top 40 radio DJs during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It really was the golden age of top 40 radio, and it's all but disappeared due to large-scale corporate buyouts. Top 40 radio DJs were mavericks, well-known celebrities who had listeners that tuned in to them every day at the same time, day after day. And we loved our listeners. They were like family. You know, radio is largely a nomadic industry. You're here one day and gone the next. There are so many great stories, hilarious and compelling, about how we were fired and what went on behind the scenes. But above and beyond everything else, we had fun. A lot of fun. Hi, I'm Shotgun Tom Kelly.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
But I got...
You don't have the hat.
I had the hat.
You were going to say you had the hat, but you don't have the hat.
I don't have the hat.
So you're not Shotgun Tom
No,
Kelly.
I'm Bill Chamberlain. Hello, I'm Johnny Stockton.
No, you're not.
Johnny Milford?
No, you're not.
Hello, I'm Johnny Midnight.
Trust me, you are not Johnny Midnight.
Okay, I'm Bill Kelly.
Nope. Nope.
Well, then who am I?
You're Bill Chamberlain.
I always thought I was the Nighthawk. Kind of a superhero kind of guy.
It's confusing, isn't it, Bill?
It's very confusing.
Just tell him why we're here.
We're here to talk about his career
Just
in
can't
radio.
get it right, can you, Bill?
It's just so confusing. If I knew what the hell your last name was,
All
I
right,
could get it right.
Let's just go with Johnny Milford Stockton Midnight Esquire III.
Yeah, that clears it up.
I do what I can.
We're asking your help in getting our project completed. Hear the tales of how we were hired and fired, and how everything came together and sometimes fell apart. This is Stories from Behind the Microphone.
The reindeers are spying, and I've got the proof. There's eavesdroppings on the sash and poop on the roof. First of all, Dr. Don Rose. Dr. Don. I was at KFRC when he came into the building, when he was brought in from Philadelphia. And I heard him on the air, and I thought, ooh, I don't think it's going to work, because that's not really San Francisco.
Oh,
he's
yeah?
wild. He's Rip Taylor.
Yeah.
Throwing, instead of confetti, all these little voices. I became one of the voices, as it turns out, and I became a big fan of Dr. Don. And the one I was the one that went,
That's right, Dr. Don.
one day, according to this wonderful Dr. Don story, and I was there to see it, we had guests in the studios recording for the public service stuff, and these were a bunch of angry lesbian women. They really wanted it to be known that they were fully in charge of their lives and they don't need any other help from any authority, let alone man. And their attitude was on their shoulder. And I walked in the studio when they were recording, and I said, "Oh, that's a nice album. Who produced that?" "We produced that," they said, you know, really shoving in my face their authority. Okay, see ya. Later on, I'm in the hallways. We're all sitting around talking, and Dr. Don was there with us, you know. And this girl and the program PSA director, another militant person who just happened to be female, came storming down the hall, and she had a bone to pick with Dr. Don. "I'm glad you're here. I've been wanting to talk to you for weeks. Now that I got you, I want to tell you that I don't appreciate the way you put women in your show. You make them the butt of your jokes. You make fun of your wife. You know, you put women in this ridiculously funny situation as if to undermine our authority." And Dr. Don said, wait a minute. Let me understand this. Am I correct in thinking that you want me to treat you as an equal? Like any other man? She goes, yes, that's exactly what I mean. He says, okay, then go fuck yourself. He really said that with a twinkle in his eye, and then she just bahaba and walked away, and we all had our fun. But that's...
I am sitting here with Dave Hall, the hullabalooer from KRLA in Los Angeles, probably the hottest rock and roll radio station of the 60s. And it is such a pleasure to be here with you, and I really sincerely thank you for allowing us to come down and invade your space for a little while.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, Bill. We're happy to have you. We're glad you're here.
Well, I'm a nice guy. So, let's talk about your career. Where'd you start?
Well, I started in Armed Forces Radio in North Africa.
North Africa, really?
I went by the radio station, and I walked in one day, and a corporal was taking phone calls, and I said, "How do you get on the air?" He said, "Just a minute, I'll call Lieutenant Gary." Lieutenant Gary came down from his office and said, "You want to go on the air?" I said, "Yes, sir, but I've never been on the air." They said, "You've got a classical show tonight from 6 to 6:15.
Just like that?
I said, "But I don't know anything about classical music, sir." And he said, "That's okay, it's all scripted." He said, "You take this script back to your barracks and you read it over and familiarize yourself and be here at 5:30. I said, "Well, I have two choices. Give them back the script, never go on the air, or take it back to the barracks and learn what I've got to learn." I chose the latter. But unbeknownst to me, it was all in German. I had no idea how to pronounce the words. So I decided I have two choices. Take the script back and give up radio, or two, fake it.
Fake it.
I chose the latter. So when 5:30 came around, the lieutenant said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yes, sir, I sure am." He said, "Good." And when I started, I made up the words. In the sonata Gottschalk-Norfen, the Feldendorfer, the violinist, will do an outstanding job with her rendition of Hellstritt-Norfendorf. Well, unbeknownst to me, the brigadier general who ran the base that I was on, that the radio station on, loved the classical show at 6 o'clock. Well, it was the next morning. I got a call.
I'll bet you did. There you have it. Stories from behind the microphone. A conversation with some of the best, and you can be a part of our story. How? It's simple. Get behind our project with a donation of $10,000, $15,000, maybe $25,000. Okay, that's a joke, but still, every little bit helps. Thank you for your time and consideration. Until later, remember, keep your feet on the wall, keep reaching for the phone, and no matter where you go, there you are. Peace, love, aloha.